Closing remarks on Senate File 188.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good evening, Mr. Speaker. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the House. I do appreciate the debate. I'm just going to close some of the doors and windows that we've opened here in the debate. Representative Sunday, thank you. You hit the point right on the head. You said it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that this is going to be a bipartisan vote coming out of this chamber here today, just like it was coming out of the Senate. So I thank you. Just wanted to say that. To Representative Masher, Representative Winkler, Representative Hall, and Representative Bennett, I understand where you're coming from. And let me say this, I'll be one of the first people to stand with you in this chamber, outside this chamber, on any college campus here in the state of Iowa, and say that the culture we have where young men are committing atrocities against our young women is unacceptable. I'll stand with you. I don't find it condescending to recognize that we have a problem and recognize that legislation is not always going to be the answer. Look at the different studies that are out there. Look at some of the news articles that have been coming out over the past few years about what's occurring at our universities and our campuses. This is from last April. More than twice as many University of Iowa students in the fall responded to the campus's second iteration of a safety and sexual misconduct survey. Many of the key themes were similar, including that about 1 in 5, let that sink in, 1 in 5 undergraduates reported being raped since enrolling. Another study. More than 11% of all undergraduate and graduate students in the United States experience rape or sexual assault during their academic career, and 4.2% of students say they have experienced some form of stalking since entering college. This is from 2017, folks. According to the data, there were 52 rapes reported in 2017, up from 41 the year before. We can do all the studies we want. The universities already have policies that they've implemented. Representatives have brought those up and talked about them here today. They are good policies in many likes and circumstances. They are trying to address the problem. They are trying to provide a different means to make sure that our students and our faculty are not being attacked, not being violently raped, and not having to bear that scar and that burden for the rest of their life. But it's not completely effective. I've got 2 daughters, and they're going to be going to one of our colleges here one of these days. I don't know which one yet. But by God, when they go, I want to know, and I want them to know, that their first line of defense is themselves. They can't expect campus security to be right at their beck and call every 30 seconds. They can't expect that some of the systems that these universities and college have in place is going to protect them from these type of attacks. My children, your grandchildren, the 81,000 students whose lives are precious that are going to our universities right now, they need to be able to defend themselves. The policies that our universities and our community colleges have put forth that restrict our students from being able to have this tool, and yes, it is one tool of many that they can utilize, but those policies that they have put forth are not serving our students, our faculty. They are putting them at a disadvantage. They are flawed policies. And yes, it is incumbent upon us to tell them when they have flawed policies. We send them the taxpayer's dollar, and we expect them to do good things with it, and most often they do. But by God, when it comes to this, when you're looking at numbers that you've got 52 rapes in 2017, 52, how many lives have been ruined? How many young women are carrying that burden for the rest of their life? Now, I'm not saying the bill right here is going to have stopped all 52 of those. I know it won't. But I hear this logic all the time from folks that oppose me on other types of policy. If but one. If it only saves one. If this policy that's before us, and we have the opportunity to vote on in a bipartisan fashion, if this stops one rape, Is that not worth it? Think about it. Really think about it. If it stops one young woman from being sexually assaulted at one of our universities or college campuses, is it not worth it? There have been a lot of different points that have been made here today, whether someone should use pepper spray, a rape whistle, a phone on their app, a button on a pole at one of the universities or the campuses, do the buddy system, do the check-in system with your college roommates. All of those things may be effective, but why would we deny our students, our faculty, one more tool at their disposal? I can't justify it. And I've heard a lot of contortions here tonight, different reasonings why we can't do it or why there's going to be no votes. Folks, let it sink in. There's a problem. It's not condescending to say that we're empowering people so that they can address the problem. We're trying to help them address it. Let's address it. Is this the end-all be-all? No. But we've got an opportunity to make a step in the right direction. And I believe this is the right step. Mr. Speaker, I move the bill be read for the last time and placed on its passage.
Gentleman from Harrison moves that the bill be read for